I'm Alberto with CloneOps.ai, and we are plugged in with freight management software. Henry Sheldon, CEO. How are you, my friend?
Good, Alan. Good to see you.
Likewise, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So, AI is all the buzz. I know you're one of our first integrated TMS partners. I'd love to hear from you. What did we stand up, and what are you hearing on your side and your customers about AI in the space today?
Well, so we got some really cool stuff we're working on. We just got released. So the first one we just got done with is going to help our customers with tracking. So it's going to take those carriers that are hard to get a hold of, the ones that maybe don't use MacroPoint, that sort of thing, and it will call them and get the check calls instead of having your carrier team do it. So all the check calls, and then even better, if they find out they delivered or anything like that, it's going to automatically mark off the statuses inside tracking, all through the virtual agent calling or virtual texting. Either way.
That's incredible. So I'm
Yeah.
hearing an outbound call that can gather feedback or data or response from a carrier and then make updates within the TMS.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
All
So
right. Rumor
really
has
cool.
it you can take us for a ride and we can actually see
Sure.
what this looks like.
Sure. Let me share my screen. Let's take a look at it.
I'm excited to see
So
it.
yeah, yeah. All right. So we're on a tracking screen, okay, right now. And so this is one of the customers. We got a couple of loads here that were kind of hard to find out where the loads are, right? So not only did they schedule a call, okay, that they have one scheduled, it's going to call it, in just about 2 hours. They also have a call and telling them where they were. So if at any time they can click on this, let's go to the edit tracking screen. We're going to see this in a little bit more detail. Okay. So now, right up here in the tracking screen, they can see exactly what's going on with the load. So they can see that its driver in is departed. So now we're getting check calls, right? So we have these check calls, and look at this. The agent's been calling this for this load, and they're giving us summaries of what's going on. So this driver just told us, the driver is currently in Fort Stockton, Texas, and is going along nicely. And then we have another check call ready to happen, just 4 hours from this one. So it's just coming in real nice. Um, if they
I have
need
a
to,
question for you.
yeah, go
So
ahead.
is it timed? I think I just saw that you might have mentioned like they're scheduled within 4 hours of each other. So is
Yeah.
it timed to do the outbound call at a certain cadence? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So what we've set up is what they wanted for this particular customer. They wanted to set their own times when and on the different loads that they want to call on. So they can come right up here to the top and they can just say start check call scheduling, and then they can come through, pick the loads that they want to schedule. Right? They say send calls, and they immediately start scheduling these calls, who they wanted to send them to, whether it's the dispatcher or the driver, automatically coming with the phone numbers. And when they're ready, they just say make the calls, or excuse me, schedule the calls, but they can also make the calls right now. Now, here's what's really cool with the virtual agent. If they can schedule these calls, but they can also make the calls right now. And instead of like synchronously, like a person would, making the call one at a time, these calls are happening all at the same time. So you can say, go get me information about 10 loads right now. And about 10 minutes, you're going to have all those calls come back. Way more efficient than like if just somebody was calling on their own. So really cool stuff that we're seeing with these customers and how they're using it. Um,
Nice. So I'm hearing some initial value there is the volume, right?
yeah,
So having a rep make those dials, it's a one by one based on the call activity that a human can produce
yeah,
versus what you just said is firing off several calls at once and being able to put that data back in real
exactly.
time.
Yeah, exactly. And it gives them back a real time, not just like, hey, the call was made. It gives them back a real time, um, like how the call went. Like so so with the little thumbs up, meaning it's going good. The little green arrow means that they're right on time. You know, everything has a little thing. We would see a little yellow error if they're having a little problem. So you know they can look very closely at their tracking board, and they know exactly what's going on with the load. Um,
That
any
makes
given
good sense.
time,
And I would
yeah,
say,
yeah,
I imagine your customers, you want your customers, right? Or TMS in general wants their customers doing all their operations, and a brokerage wants all of their users doing all their operations within the TMS so that that is the source of truth and all of the data is there. Also, I think for like data cleanliness. So having those little icons, right? The truck with the green check
right,
or the yellow check or the blue check is a great symbol to be able to understand what is happening within this agent dial,
right,
the
right, exactly.
conversation.
Exactly. And then so then not only do we have the call history here too, but down in here when they're looking at like if they want to dive into a specific load and see exactly what's going on with that load, they can really dive into like any of the statuses, and so they can come right in here to those virtual agent calls too, and they can see even more about them, the internal notes, what was called on them and everything. So we really not only this integration and all of our AI integrations are not just sit on top of our TMS. They're really part of the TMS. They're in the same workflow that everybody uses, and that's what's going to bring the value to our customers. It's not just hey, we're going to send a call and now you got to go to the other site to see it. It's not what's happening here. The AI is part of your TMS, and that's what I'm really proud of for this
So tell
integration.
me, if I'm an FMS customer, what do
Mhm.
I do to activate this?
Oh, well, that's pretty easy, right? We're going to be coming out with a activation screen so that you can activate it yourself. We're not that far along yet. So right now, all they do is they contact us. We can go through the different AI agents that we have, and then we can turn them on. And I know we're both CloneOps and us have ways that we can turn it on for each other. So yeah, that makes sense.
Perfect. This is great. Anything else you want to show here?
Just love our little robot that's showing us the virtual agent. So not only can you go in here, but you also can, make your calls and add future calls right from here as well. So it's just a really cool integration. I think our customers are gonna love this.
Thank you for sharing this with us. It's great to hear, to see behind the scenes and get kind of like that sneak peek that we on
Oh
our side don't often get. So
yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
So
no
where
problem.
it's tell me kind of forward thinking, what's next? So the first agent was this track and trace and dispatching agent.
Yeah.
What's next?
Oh, well, we're working on one really cool one now. The next one that we're working on, different customer, but they want to be able to make sure that when they get calls from carriers, that they know what kind of carrier is hitting their team. Okay, so not just if the carrier is set up with them or not, but what loads are they working on or they're trying to get, what kind of lanes are they looking for, and maybe even pricing. So not the virtual agent's going to give them a bunch of information, take a bunch of information, and decide if it needs to hit the human carrier team, or can the virtual agent actually offer that load to the carrier for a specific price and do some small negotiating. So
Got
that
it.
one's being worked on right now, and it's going to be really cool when that one comes out. So yeah,
That's
it's
exciting. So
exciting.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm hearing like I'll repeat it back to you and let me know if I got this right.
Yeah.
I'm hearing almost like a gatekeeper agent who's doing kind of like a carrier screener who's collecting the information from the carrier calling in, and then it's giving back information from the load and the rate and maybe the lane, and then assessing, are you the right carrier for this load?
Right.
And then if they determine that the answer is yes, it could transfer to a rep for some next steps, or the agent could even be empowered to negotiate some of that rate and or even push forward with the booking.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
right?
All of that's right. But then when it does push it to the rep is going to, like, as they pick up, a screen's popping up and giving them all that information so they have a chance to look at that screen, see all the information, so they don't have to ask that carrier all that information again. So they know what load they're working on, the loads coming up into the TMS. They can do their negotiating right inside the TMS, putting in any kind of bids or counter offers or anything like that in it, and it's gonna just be really cool. So it gives them one step ahead. Hopefully, they can talk to more carriers. A single individual can talk to more carriers and book more freight with this, and that's going to be the selling point of all of it.
I see that, the volume play, right?
Yeah.
Because an agent would be able to handle the volume at scale versus what a human rep could do is a one-to-one.
Right.
So that makes sense, being able to book more loads faster,
Right.
qualified with qualified carriers.
Exactly. Exactly. And then
Awesome.
and you automatically know, by the time the agent hits your phone, if it goes that far, you automatically know if that agent is set up in your system, how many loads they've done in the last month or 2 months, you know all that information sitting right on the screen in front of you. So, I mean, if you didn't have to look that up and it's right there, it just gives you negotiating power too, what you're dealing with. So, yeah,
And all of it in real time, which is fascinating as well, right? So all of that
exactly.
rate lane carrier data being updated in the TMS on one screen in real time.
Exactly. I mean, it's
Well,
it's getting
Henry,
really cool.
thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us today. We appreciate you. We appreciate your partnership. Any last words in closing or any advice or nuggets that you would share with our audience today who's looking at AI?
Just, make sure you have the right partner. CloneOps has been terrific with us, working with us. I mean, I can't even tell you behind the scenes, it's like our programmers have been working together for years, I mean, it's just really an easy type of thing a partnership that we're having. And I can't say enough about that because there's so many times I do integrations and this isn't I don't even consider this an integration. I consider this a partnership because we're tying the AI so closely into our TMS that it's just pretty cool. So when you're selecting an AI company, make sure they're working with your TMS or your partners. To make sure they're truly a partner and not just telling you everything that they can do and not really showing you results. So,
I would agree with you.
yeah,
And shout out to your team as well. They've been great to work with. So thank you.
thank you.